And the hope, obviously, is that they will not have to go into action. It's all this is just in case. But you pointed out, Courtney, there's that corrections office. There's that corrections bus right there with the lights flashing at the top left of our screen. When we widened out, Skyfox 5 showed Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and there's another one that's waiting up there, also with lights flashing, just in case they need to make that many arrests. But Chief Shields has made it clear that that's not their intent. They will let these people gather as long as they gather peacefully. They can stay there all night if they want. If the police have to stay in that cordon until 5 o'clock in the morning till the last person goes home and nobody gets hurt, I think they will have considered this a success. But we'll hear from the chief and the mayor before long and hear what they have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, don't let it be said that people were not given the opportunity to demonstrate and do it in a way that bordered on peaceful at one point, but was not entirely peaceful. You know, obviously, for the majority of the time so far, it was peaceful and it was a success.
Right.
But people were given the opportunity to express themselves, and now it's just a waiting game. What's going to happen next? As police are lined up there, protesters have now taken over the intersection, and many of them are not leaving. If anything, it looks like some people are walking towards the intersection and joining the crowd that's there.
And there's really not much they can do there other than protest peacefully. Now we see some people running back toward the park. Obviously, from our vantage point, it's unclear why. It doesn't seem like there were any aggressive moves that we can tell from police in their direction. But it would seem, and we'll hear from the chief soon, but it would seem that if it stays where it is, that's a pretty good place for it to be, because there's not much that they can do to the park. They've got them surrounded, and it doesn't look as though the crowd is intent to move. So as long as it stays in one place, that could be a good thing.
And let me just make clear, because I'm looking now at some of the commentary on social media, and I want to make it very clear that we are not condoning, we at Fox 5, us as journalists, we're not opining on what's happening here. We're just narrating for you what's going on, and we're providing context and comparing to what's going on in other cities. So when you hear us say that one police car was burned, a few windows were broken, and some graffiti was done, that is by no means minimizing what happened. It is not condoning the violence or the property damage. We are not expressing our opinions. That is not what we do as journalists. We are only simply providing you some context, because remember, this is not anything that took place within the Atlanta Police Department. That's not what protesters here are complaining about. They are here to express their discontent with what happened in Minneapolis, when a man was killed by police when he was in custody in that state. So people here are expressing their discontent, and yes, they have damaged property, but it has by no means been on the level of what we saw in Minneapolis, where that happened, where they've burned down entire buildings. They burned down an auto parts store. They vandalized a Target and looted almost everything inside. So I just wanted to make that clear, Russ, if you don't mind. No, please. It's perspective. And I guess, you know, we've been out here for now 3 hours almost, and I probably have veered into expressing an opinion during the course of those 3 hours, and I hope I haven't offended anybody in any way, shape, or form. I hope I've made it clear that the Atlanta police don't deserve any of this, because they didn't do any of it. They're simply, I think we've made this point many, many times, that their intent is to protect the protesters, to protect property, to protect innocent lives. And as long as people chant and speak their piece about George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and others who they feel were victims of terrible injustice, I think the police are more than satisfied with that. I think the police chief is more than satisfied with that. The mayor and the governor too. That's the hallmark of this country. You're allowed to do that. Now, you shouldn't throw a bottle at anybody. I mean, it's not a big deal in the context, as you point out, of what happened in Minneapolis. It seems like not even worth mentioning. But, you know, police shouldn't have bottles thrown at them. That's not that's not attaining any kind of justice for George Floyd. But
what we're trying to do is put this in some kind of context, and I think you said it very well. What happened in Minneapolis was not anything that honored George Floyd. Walking out of a Target with a big screen TV may be a way of expressing frustration, but it's not just, and it's not lawful. So anyway.
And to be fair, some people may take advantage of it.